gun violence isn't okay and something needs to change.
We believe that we should live! We believe that we should live!
We want to make it known that we want change, and we don't want to just sit in a school waiting.
We are the ones facing this personally. We are the ones in our schools being murdered.
Welcome to KGW News at 6. This may be the image people around here remember most clearly from today. Hundreds of students at Glencoe Elementary School forming a human peace sign as part of their call for change and an end to gun violence in schools across Oregon and all across the country. The kids took part in today's National School Walkout.
Pictures from the ground show dozens of students from Portland, Salem, Vancouver, and everywhere in between with bowed heads, holding signs with messages like "Protect children, not guns," or with pictures of shooting victims. Many school leaders supervised the walkouts, most of which lasted for 17 minutes, 1 minute for each victim of the Parkland, Florida school shooting exactly 1 month ago today.
Let's begin our team coverage. Maggie Vespa is at Stevenson Elementary, where some of the younger children approached today a little bit differently. But we'll start in North Portland with Pat Doris. He's at Roosevelt High School, where many students participated in the walkout. Pat.
Well, it was most of the student body. They gathered behind the school at the football bleachers there. It was a well-organized gathering. It lasted longer than 17 minutes, but no one seemed to care. They wanted to make a statement here.
Currently, it seems Americans value gun ownership over their children's safety.
Their messages were blunt and to the point. Gun violence, even in Florida, makes them feel afraid here in Oregon.
I mean, it's as simple as I shouldn't have to fear for my life every day in school, in an environment where you're supposed to feel safe and educate yourself about the world and your place in it.
Do you feel unsafe at Roosevelt?
I feel unsafe in school in general because of this constant feed of violence and hate. And it's terrifying.
They demanded that political leaders do something.
Take action and put a stop to the horrible violence plaguing our generation.
One of their teachers, a graduate of Marjorie Stoneham Douglas High School, where 17 were killed in Florida, urged them to vote.
We can take it to the streets. We can scream and yell. We can protest and march. But you need to make lasting change. And no one is going to do it for you.
Right around 10 a.m., the time of the Florida massacre, the students called for a moment of silence. Governor Kate Brown looked on from the sidelines. She later said she's impressed by the students and vowed to tackle gun control locally if Congress won't do it nationally.
Banning assault weapons, we can increase the age limit, we can ban bump stocks, and we can certainly reduce access to high-capacity magazines.
This was not a school-sanctioned event, but it was not a rebellion either. The superintendent of schools and several teachers looked on and approved. When it was over, students said they felt the demonstration was worth it.
And I'm grateful that we had people here who wanted to be here and wanted to listen to us and be here with us.
And this is not the last of it. 10 days from now, a large anti-gun violence demonstration is planned for downtown Portland. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Pat. Here were some of the sites across the metro area. Beginning in Beaverton, about 300 students filed out of Sunset High School this morning.
After a moment of silence, students led a chant saying, "We believe that we should live," over and over again. The school supervised this walkout, and students did remain on campus.
And a similar scene up in Vancouver, where hundreds of kids poured out of Fort Vancouver High School at 10 a.m. They were honoring 18 lives, the 17 from Florida and another from an accidental shooting in Alabama. Some students did leave campus to go to a local park. They say they wanted to spend more time talking about possible solutions to gun violence.
We were there when South Salem High School students walked out of class by the dozens. One student leader talked about what she hopes changes after today.
I hope that our school becomes safer not only between students but between administration, and that there becomes a clear guideline that we can go talk to our staff without feeling that we are going to have our information be spread to anybody or that we don't feel safe enough to. And I hope that it changes, that we become a bigger community and work together to solve these issues.
South Salem also held a walk-in where students could write on a note card what they felt needed to be done to keep schools safe. Student leaders say they will use that information in a proposal in the future.
Even Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler could be spotted at Lincoln High School, where students also took part. However, the mayor referred to himself as just a bystander and a supporter. He stood back during the 17 minutes of silence. Afterward, he agreed to speak with the media only if he could share the spotlight with one of the kids who made today's demonstration happen.
I found it very, very powerful to see young people taking control of issues that matter to them. There's no issue that they should not be involved in, but this issue of school safety impacts them more than anybody else.
I'm absolutely overjoyed right now. I'm holding back tears. I really did not think we would be able to be silent for a whole 17 minutes. I did not hear anybody breathe. You could hear a pin drop, and it's just so, I'm overjoyed because I really wanted to make a change, and I feel like it is the beginning.
Students at Lincoln ended their walkout by dropping letters into a bin. They will be sent to kids in Parkland, Florida.
Parkland may be the shooting that reignited the gun debate, but it is far from the only one. And unfortunately, Oregon has seen its share of shootings. In May of 1998, then 15-year-old Kip Kinkle killed his parents and then drove to Thurston High School, where he killed 2 students and hurt another 23. Then February of 2006, a student was shot at Roseburg High School. June 2014 was the deadly Reynolds High School shooting. And December of that same year, 4 people were shot outside Rosemary Anderson High School. And most recently was the October 2015 mass shooting at Umpqua Community College in Roseburg. That brings us to today. And on the other side of the country, even more students marched on the Capitol in Washington, D.C. to get the attention of U.S. leaders. NBC's Blaine Alexander reports on what they've already accomplished.
Well, Tracy, lawmakers in both parties will acknowledge that today's bill was just a first step in a bigger picture towards school safety. But many of the students who walked out today want to make sure that the next step includes gun control.
They came to the seat of power. From the White House to Capitol Hill, thousands of students raising their voices, demanding action against gun violence.
Do your jobs, give us concrete solutions.
Lawmakers are paying attention.
America is listening to your voices.
But will they act? Today, the House overwhelmingly passing the Stop School Violence Act. $50 million a year to beef up school security, better training to identify warning signs, and improve coordination between schools and law enforcement.
More tools to actively identify a potential shooter before a tragedy happens.
But nothing on guns. President Trump has promised his support for the measure. Congressman Ted Deutsch, who represents Parkland, helped write the bill before the shooting.
I know that this does not go far enough in terms of what we need to do, but it is an important step.
But students say even that step is too small.
The adults have failed us. This is in our hands now, and if any elected official gets in our way, we will vote them out and replace them ourselves.
The NRA tweeting its stance. I'll control my own guns. But students promising to continue their pressure for lawmakers to act on tougher gun laws.
And another bill that you may have heard a lot about is the Fix Nix bill that deals with background checks when buying a gun. That bill is still in the Senate and has not yet come up for a vote. In Washington, Blaine Alexander, KGW News. Back to you in Portland.
You've seen and heard some of the older students taking part in today's walkout, but younger kids joined in as well. KGW's Maggie Vespa is live at Stevenson Elementary School in Southwest Portland. And Maggie, they found their own way to take part.
Joe, they did, and teachers admit, it was kind of hard finding that line because at the end of the day, the underlying issue here is gun control, and a walkout is a protest. That's kind of an adult action to take. But, school safety also affects kids this age and possibly sometimes younger. So these kids wanted to participate, and they did it in their own way.
Be respectful.
At Stevenson Elementary,
Do your best.
messages of kindness and caring echo through the halls.
What did yours say, Kai?
For little kids, the focus aimed young.
There it is. It says, be nice.
Granted, focus is often broken by news cameras.
To answer the question, how do we care for each other here at Stevenson?
For fifth graders,
Kindness. I like kindness.
bigger issues came into play.
Well, we did equality and include.
Okay.
And we had like an African American person and a white person like playing together.
And obviously I'm seeing a lot of human rights stuff.
Teachers know it's a day sparking strong opinions.
Should they be in school? Should they not be in school? But I think in this situation, it's nice to be able to put school and this political stance, more or less, or a human stance, to be able to put them together.
Put them together.
Quietly make your way to the door so we can get outside. It's 10:20.
By following the older kids and walking out.
Hit those.
All right, everybody. I know this is a very exciting day.
Students at Stevenson wore brightly colored shirts. On their playground, a rainbow formed.
The rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers.
A song and a symbol for a child's interpretation of today.
Their excitement today in doing this, singing the song together, showing unity, cohesiveness, is always a critical message that I think we should do at all times with children.
And with that, it was back to class.
Absolutely.
With staff hope, a lasting lesson in tow.
Such a sweet day here. Now, we do want to point out we aired this story at 4, and pretty immediately, because these kids are so young, got a phone call from a viewer who was asking if parents got notice ahead of time that A, this was going to happen, and B, did they have the chance if they wanted to opt their child out. We had the understanding that was the case going in, but we double-checked for that viewer. The answer to both questions is yes. Back to you.
Maggie, thank you very much. You can see more pictures and videos from today's walkouts at KGW.com and also on the KGW mobile app, including some of the students' own cell phone videos.
Still to come, United Airlines is dealing with 2 big mistakes in less than a week. First, the accidental death of a dog forced into an overhead compartment. And now, a different dog accidentally shipped to Japan. How the mistakes happened and what United has promised to do to prevent any more.
And a little excitement in Manzanita tonight. A film crew is in the middle of shooting a pilot there. Some neighbors, though, really pretty anxious for them to wrap it all up.
I bet there's a lot of excitement up and down the Oregon coast with the sunshine and the weather we're having. This is Newport, a beautiful day there out over the bay, 48 degrees there. And in the valleys, we've got some clouds, but it's looking pretty good. I'll let you know what the shower chances are and the latest on that geomagnetic storm that might produce the northern lights.
The 2018 Rose Festival Princess for Franklin High School is Amaya Gustav.
You heard it there. Franklin High School picked junior Amaya Gustav as its Rose Festival Princess. We're more than halfway there. Still several schools to announce, though. Tomorrow, Wilson High will make its choice. And the Queen will be announced the morning of June 9th.
There's some excitement in Manzanita tonight. A new TV pilot is being shot there, and it's getting a lot of attention.
Lots of folks think it could be pretty good for business. On the other hand, some can't wait for the crew to kind of wrap things up. Brian Brennan is live there. And Brian, lots of activity for a small town.
That's very true. There's a lot of production going on behind me as well. They are controlling traffic so no one interrupts the shoot in progress. People have been showing up here all day to see what's going on. The filming of a TV pilot brought 125 new visitors to Manzanita the last 2 days.
Very friendly, and it's kind of fun.
People stopped by to get a look, and others even got to play a part.
They had a extra
in here was actually my daughter from next door, and she got to play a shopkeeper and saw the car chase down the street, and she got to react to it, and they filmed it.
But not everyone is overly excited about all the excitement.
If this is it for shots that they can use, down the road, I think that's great. But if it's here on a regular basis, no.
Some people are concerned their quiet town might start looking a little too much like Hollywood. The city says it did its best to find a compromise.
We went through a bunch of parameters with them, which we thought would work and which didn't work. For example, one thing, we didn't want them shooting any guns or going up and down the street with the sirens on the police car.
The TV crew shot for 2 days. The pilot is for a show called Stadies. A detective is sent to an eccentric coastal town to work with a state trooper who talks to trees and flies kites.
A detective that's sent to the boondocks. And so here we are being the boondocks.
If the pilot is picked up, the crew might return to Manzanita, if the city allows it.
I think if we did it again, I don't think we'd allow them to tie up Lanita for the whole day, because we're a really small town and everything's on Lanita. Right. The grocery store, the post office, and it impacted some businesses.
Most of the people we talked to say they are happy with their new guests.
It's been fun to watch, and I think it's a great way to bring businesses to Oregon.
As long as they don't wear out their welcome.
I'm in favor. Of course, they're not in front of my house.
There was a lot of talk today not wanting some areas of this town to be overrun with tourists like what can sometimes happen at the Goonies house in Astoria. Back to you.
Well, yeah, everyone sees this on TV and they think, where's this great little town? And then they want to go.
The Goonies house, they finally had to keep people totally away from there because people are still going. We're still going to.
Kind of like your house. People are always trying to see what's going on at Laurel's house. Exactly.
Put that big plaque up. I think that gave it away.
That was kind of it. The big KGW thing in the front lawn.
Come on over.
I don't think they're going to actually name the town in that series.
They're not.
They're
it's
not.
going to be named something else.
Yeah,
Pine something.
Yeah, Somerville
right,
exactly.
They had a
Ocean
nice
Breeze.
day to shoot there, too.
That's great. Yeah, and they'll have more good shooting weather tomorrow if they're still shooting.
If they're allowed.
Right. If Manzanita is not too busy for them, then we've got more good weather on the way. Here's Cannon Beach right now, just up the road from Manzanita. Of course, love our Oregon towns. They're so awesome. And especially when the weather's like this, Cannon Beach just looks absolutely stunning. Here's a time lapse for you from our reserve golf course Skycam, and you can see the clouds building up, but then never really making it all that tall. We had some scattered showers out there. I'll show you on radar. It looked like to the north here, we might get a little bit of development, but I never really did see anything from this view that popped into the shower category. We will, though, and we are, actually. If you look at Doppler radar, there's been a few sprinkles over here. I think a lot of this is just that cloud cover that's been developing and not really moving. It's sort of been stuck over there for quite a bit. All right, there's been a lot of talk about this. There was a geomagnetic storm on the sun yesterday. It was not a very strong one, as geomagnetic storms go, but it was really broad. This entire dark area here, it's like a giant sunspot. It's called a coronal hole, and when that happens, it disturbs the sun's magnetic field, which in turn allows the solar wind to emanate from the sun much stronger than normal. And when that reaches Earth, if it's Earth directed, and it is, then that can in turn excite or perturb the Earth's magnetic field. And when that happens, you get the northern lights sometimes. So it could cause the northern lights tonight. There's certainly no certainty around that. And if they do happen, and they've been visible from Europe, but like far northern Europe tonight, it's dark over there already. Whether or not it can send to our latitude remains to be seen, and the odds are not that great. It could cause some disruptions to GPS and some satellite communications, but that hardly ever happens. There are safeguards in place for that. So again, there's a slightly elevated chance that we could see the northern lights about down to our latitude, better chances as you go north. And I think we'll have the clear sky. You won't see it from your backyard. Too much city lights. You got to go get away from the city lights. Showers here will develop again tomorrow and roll back on into the northwest. So with that in mind, let's look at futurecast. It should be generally clear tonight, so that's good. We got that going for us. And then tomorrow, watch what happens. This is 1 o'clock. We're still dry. Then later in the afternoon, some showers develop along the Cascade foothills and then rotate over the valley and towards the coast range. So we could yet see a stronger shower, some small hail, possibly even a thunderstorm. Our high today was 55. Outside right now, it's beautiful out there. On the coast, highs will be in the 50s, about 51 at Astoria with showers and possibly a thunderstorm at the beaches. Partly sunny, scattered showers today. You know what? It's very much like the weather we had today. That's what we get tomorrow and on Friday. And over the weekend, it'll get a little bit rainier. Snow showers in the Cascades, snow level 1,500 feet. So there's been about 3 inches new today. May get another couple inches tonight. Skiing will be good. We're not going to be seeing that waist-deep powder from a couple weeks ago, but still pretty good. In the gorge, east winds are back, but they're light, partly sunny, and down to 31 in Hood River, so that'll get the attention of growers out there. A few showers tonight, and then sun and showers tomorrow, really a lot like today. Saturday, St. Patrick's Day, did you know that? We'll have sun and showers again, cooler with a high of only 53. Sunday, sun and showers. That, of course, is Shamrock Run Day. So if you're running the Shamrock Run, get ready for some cool weather, temperatures in the 30s at the start of the run. And then it warms up on Monday and Tuesday. And Tuesday is the first day of spring. And we should get back up to about 60 or 61. So all in all, not bad. Ladies, Joe?
Thank you, Matt.
Next at 6, fighting hunger in Oregon. A local business that encourages people to eat locally is now stretching its mission to help those in need.
At last check, the KGW Great Food Drive has collected more than 760,000 pounds of food. Thank you. We are getting closer to our goal of $1.5 million. We do have another collection event coming up. It's tomorrow from 4 to 6 at the Murray and Allen Safeway in Beaverton. We'll be there accepting cash or food donations. And if you are able to give, you'll get a free root beer float.
Yeah, well, here are the rest of the ways you can give: by buying Tillamook dairy products. They'll donate a portion of the proceeds through the month of March. You can also donate food at Toyota dealerships, food or cash at Rivermark Community Credit Unions, or you can donate cash at kgw.com/food drive.
Well, this will get you interested in studying science. 2 Portland teenagers won a combined $140,000 at the Regeneron Science Talent Search. Shahir Rahman took 4th place, won $100,000. He created an internet-enabled microwave. It can heat different foods on the same plate to different temperatures. And Rayleigh Schweinfurth of Oregon Episcopal School got 10th place and $40,000. She did a study on contamination levels following an incident in 2013 that resulted in the death of 50,000 bees.
Yeah, what'd you do today, right?
Well, fine dining right in the middle of a farm field. It's how one Portland woman is raising money to fight hunger in Oregon.
She calls it Plate and Pitchfork, and it's become quite the hot ticket in the 15 years it's been around.
KGW's environmental reporter Keely Chalmers is live at Smithberry Farm Forest in Hillsboro. And Keely, that farm will be hosting a couple of the dinners this summer.
Yeah, that's right, guys. And those who take part in those dinners will not only get to enjoy some great food and great wine, they'll also get to help out a great cause.
Yeah, so this is where the dinner's hosted.
On a grassy patch in the pear orchard at Smithberry Farm. This is where during one weekend this July, rows of tables will be set up.
But usually it's pretty fancy.
It may not look fancy now. Our Fly 8 drone gives us a bird's eye view of the farm not yet in bloom. But imagine all this in July, full of fruits and vegetables and people eating them.
But I've seen limos come, I've seen people in tuxedos.
This summer, the farm will host at least 2 Plate and Pitchfork dinners.
Plate and Pitchfork is a series of dinners held on farms around Oregon.
Erica Palmer founded the Plate and Pitchfork program back in 2003. She wanted to connect people directly to the food they eat and to the people who grow and make that food.
It was 2003. Not everybody was talking about know your farmer, know your food. We didn't have hashtags then. We didn't even have iPhones then.
So she came up with the idea to host dinners at farms across Oregon. Those who attend get to enjoy a 4 to 5 course gourmet meal made from the food grown right there at the farm. But Erica didn't want to stop there. She also wanted to give back.
We think of Oregon as being so abundant in food, but there are 600,000 Oregonians every month who don't know where their next meal is coming from. And 300,000 of those are kids.
A portion of all Plate and Pitchfork ticket sales goes to helping provide families in need with healthy food to eat. This past year, Erica raised $15,000 for those families, and she plans to continue raising money while also raising awareness about just how tasty food right from the farm can be.
It's like having a very fancy downtown meal, but here on the farm, so it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and a heads up, next Wednesday, the Plate and Pitchfork Dinner Series will be announced. Now, tickets for a seat at one of those dinners will run you between about $120 and $150. I'm told they always sell out, and they do go fast. If you'd like more information about the dinners, the program, and how you can help out, we've got a link to it all on our website, kgw.com.
Wow, that looks tremendous.
No wonder they sell out.
No kidding.
Great idea for a
Gorgeous.
good cause.